Good afternoon, students of Physical Science Matter. I'm recording this video to let you know some information about this week's assignments. I'm going to start with some week 5 announcements. Okay, so on our stream this week, we have some announcements. I wanted to let you know about the due date for all assignments this week is Thursday, May 14th at 3 p.m. You might have noticed last week we did bump the due date up by an hour from 4 p.m. to 3 p.m. Moving forward, all your assignments will be due Friday at 3 p.m. So make sure you get your stuff done by 3 p.m. on Friday. The reason why we have to turn assignments in this week by Thursday is because midterm progress reports are going to be sent home after this week. And so there's technically a grading day on Friday for teachers. You need to have your stuff in this week on Thursday at 3 p.m. You will be sent home your midterm progress reports in the mail. I believe they will come to your house and they will be let you know your grades from week 1 to week 5 of this course. I also want to make an announcement about attendance. In order to be marked present for our class, you must turn in any assignments on time. If you're having trouble completing an assignment or you need more time, send me an email, come to Zoom office hours, or get in contact with me somehow to be counted as present for the week. So if I don't see any assignments turned in from you by Thursday at 3 p.m., I have to mark you absent. If you don't engage with me or get in contact with me by the due date for the week, I will mark you as absent. So make sure, even if you're having trouble completing something, the best way to get in contact with me is to send me an email. That counts as your attendance for this week. If you need more time, please do that. Otherwise, just do your assignments for the week and I will count you as present that way. Okay, so what does week 5 look like in Physical Science Matter? I want you to first watch this video. It's the weekly overview of your assignments, and look at your assignment sheet. We've cut it down to be 2 graded assignments a week because of your feedback that we've been getting in the Google form surveys and things like that. So we didn't do a recorded lecture this week since right before midterms, and you already have 4 days instead of 5 days in the week. I do want you to do this element superhero project. It's a really cool assignment we've come up with, and it's going to be a good review project, like a midterm project, rather than a big quiz or a test. Okay, we also do have a quiz this week, though. It's a periodic table quiz, so it's on stuff that you learned last week. In order to practice for the periodic table quiz, do the practice Kahoot first. It is an ungraded assignment. It is not for points. And so you can do that as many times as you would like, and then take the quiz. You can take the quiz once, unless you've previously arranged with me that you need multiple times, or something happens, you can leave me a message in the private comment and I can open it up for unlimited times, but only 1 time for the quiz, okay? You can only take it once. Okay. Here's the element superhero project. Let's look at what you will be looking at. Every student will have a copy of this. It goes over the project, so I will read this to you. It says, in this assignment, you will design a superhero based on one of the elements of the periodic table. The physical appearance, attitudes, and superpowers of your superhero have to be based on the physical and chemical properties of the element you chose. So part 0 is you need to choose your element. I've given you a list of elements down here that you could choose from. If you want to do a different element, just write it in the private comments that you'd like to do a different element, and we will okay that probably, most likely. I just wanted to give you a few to choose from down here. Then you're going to research your element. That's part 1. Design your element superhero, draw the element superhero, and then write a element superhero story. Altogether, there's a total of 36 points. Okay, so here are the websites you're going to use to research your element. The first 2 websites are this chemical.com and chemicalelements.com. These two websites are the best for getting this first information, like the basic information about your element. And then once you do this part where it says research your element and take notes, I found that the webelements.com website and the lentech.com/periodic chart website were the most helpful to get this information about the physical appearance, properties, chemical properties, uses, and hazards or health impacts of your element. Okay, so you need to do research and take notes here about an element. And then you kind of start to form an idea of how you're going to create your element superhero or cartoon character if you wanted it to be. So you would say, you would design your superhero based on the element's characteristics. I'll show you my example here in a second, but that's where you would write down where you're trying to like brainstorm and think what your superhero is going to be like. We want you to draw your element superhero, and I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks for drawing on the computer in this space. If you would like, you could print this off and do a hand drawn drawing and then upload a photo of that. That would be fine. Or you can draw on the computer. Make sure you name your superhero, and if you'd like to get rid of this star frame, you can. It's just a placeholder. Then you're going to write a story about your element superhero. I want the story to be 2 paragraphs long. Okay, so it's 2 paragraphs. It needs to tell about an creation story or about your element superhero doing something heroic. The superpowers and characteristics and behaviors of your superhero have to match the characteristics of your element. That's the most important part. That's how we're going to be grading how much chemistry you incorporate into your superhero would be a good project. If you need some examples, I would go to this last website. This is a cool website about some already existing element superheroes where you could get inspired to do ideas from actual comic books about elements. Okay, so give your superhero story a title and write 2 paragraphs here. And then the next page that you'll receive is just a grading sheet, so you have a little bit more idea of how you're earning points on each section of this project. Okay, so I'll show you my example. I did the element superhero project as an example for you guys. Pretty fun. I chose the element cobalt. So here is my example. You could delete all of the directions in the beginning if you wanted to save yourself some space. So I start with just answers question 1 through 8 about my element superhero, or about my element, not the superhero yet. And then here are some facts researching about cobalt. So I said I found out cobalt was hard, color of cobalt is silvery white, cobalt is brittle, not malleable, cobalt is lustrous, and cobalt is magnetic. So those were all physical properties I took notes on. I took notes on some chemical properties. And as I'm starting to like get all this research, I'm starting to think about how I'm going to design a superhero with it. I found out that cobalt-60 is an isotope. It has gamma ray radiation. I found out that cobalt blue is used in pottery. And I did some more research. I found out some interesting things about cyanobacteria and the B12 vitamin complex. And so then that started to give me some really good ideas of how I would design my element superhero. I found out this cool piece of information that the word cobalt is derived from the German kobold, meaning goblin or elf. And so I decided to make my element superhero a female elf. Okay, and then if you can see, all of these physical characteristics have a justification. So I'm going to have my element superhero be short, attractive, and thin. She'll be short because she's an elf from this cobalt relationship. She will be thin because cobalt is brittle, and she will be attractive because cobalt is magnetic. And I'm starting to like brainstorm things about how I can make a cartoon or a superhero out of an element. I'm putting 27 on her front chest because 27 is the atomic number of cobalt. And I'm going to write the symbol CO on her hat because CO is the element symbol. And then I have some more details here. And I kind of started to like draw something out. So this is what I came up with. Here's her name. Her name is Kobe Balt. and she is a cobalt element superhero who throws B12 vitamins at her opponents to stun them and heal her allies there. And she really likes painting and pottery. So as I'm like drawing, I'm like thinking about, oh, I'll make this into a story, and you guys can read this story. I went a little bit overboard on my story. Remember, you only have to write 2 paragraphs. If you would like to write more, that would be awesome. But you only have to write 2 paragraphs, and that would be my story is about how Kobe Balt saves the ecosystem and does something heroic with her 2 element superhero friends. Let me give you a little bit of advice about how I did this drawing. I used Google Drawing. So what I did is I started off with a picture of Cindy Smurf, the Smurfette, and what I was able to do is layer some images on top of her. So if I wanted to say get a new paint image here, I would say insert image, search the web, and I want to search for more images. So painted blue pictures, and maybe I want to put something like this in instead. Choose a picture from there. You have to resize it, right? And then maybe turn it around. So you're kind of like scrapbooking some photos here in order to get this to work for yourself. And then here would be my new easel art that Kobe Balt just finished. For these, I created some shapes. So these are images, right? But these B12 vitamins and the 27 and the CO, I created some shapes. So if you want to use the shape tool, that's right here. I can make some more B12 vitamins maybe being thrown in the air here. And you can type into these shapes and make them different fonts if you'd like. And that way you can put some other shapes and images with labels on your drawing here. It's pretty cool. And so use Google Draw to help you draw your image. Then you're going to save file and download. You can download it as a JPEG image. Once you do that, it's going to appear in your downloads here, and you should save this somewhere in your computer where you're going to remember where it is. So I'm going to say edit and create, or there we go, save as. And I'll save it in PS Matter week 4. We want to go to week 5. Week 5, and I'll save it as Kobe Balt's. And now her image is in there. If I want to put it in my superhero project, then I go to this and I would say insert image, upload it from my computer. And we want to go to Matter class, week 5, Kobe Baltz, and there she is with her new painted image. So that's how you would like draw using Google Images to get your picture for your superhero. Like I said, you're also allowed to hand draw it if you would like. Otherwise, this works good for distance learning. Thank you for being so patient with us as we figure out how to do all of these activities online. This one should be a fun one for you guys. I also think it's going to be a good review. I heard a lot of people say in the Google Form feedback survey that we're going really fast. So take this week to breathe a little bit and have fun with this project. And good luck with the quiz. I know you guys will do great. Have a good week. Bye for now.